Before most kids even reached the counter, they already knew what kind of lunch day it was. A good one, a bad one, or one they would still remember years later. Because school lunch was never just food. It was the tray, the noise, the milk carton, the lunch line, the smell in the cafeteria before you even saw what they were serving. And honestly, I think that is what people remember most. Not just what was on the tray, but how it felt when they spotted it. And how quickly the whole mood of the day could change because of something as small as what was being served after third period. Here are 12 school lunches American kids still remember. 1. Rectangular pizza. If one school lunch still owns childhood memory, it is probably this. Not pizzeria pizza, school pizza. Rectangular, soft in the middle. A little crisp at the edges if you were lucky. Cheese sliding when it was hot enough. Sauce sweeter than normal, but somehow perfect in that cafeteria. The second kids saw it up ahead in the line, the day got better. You could feel it in the room. People talked a little louder. The tray suddenly mattered more. Even kids who usually complained about lunch seemed more willing to accept how things were going. Later, adults would say it barely counted as pizza. Back then, nobody cared. That is the thing about nostalgia. It keeps the feeling, not the accuracy. 2. Sloppy Joes. Some lunches got remembered because they tasted good. Others got remembered because they were chaos. Sloppy Joes were chaos. The bun never held together. The meat went everywhere. Sauce got on fingers, trays, maybe shirts. School tried to teach order. Stay in line. Sit down. Do not spill. Do not make a mess. Then lunch arrived looking like a problem from the very beginning. You did not eat a sloppy Joe neatly. You survived it. And somehow that was part of the appeal. It felt messy in a place that was always trying to be controlled. 3. Tater tots. Sometimes the best part of lunch was not the main dish. It was the side that saved the whole tray. That was tater tots. Crisp if you were lucky. Soft once the steam took over. Too hot on the first bite, gone fast. And at a lot of lunch tables, they were basically currency. You wanted somebody's dessert. They wanted your tots. Somebody else was trying to trade away peas. That little lunch table economy became part of the memory too, not just the taste. But the quick trades, the silent negotiations, the way kids could judge value instantly when food was spread across those divided trays. 4. Peanut butter bars and cafeteria desserts. Not every strong lunch memory came from the main section of the tray. Sometimes dessert carried the whole day. Peanut butter bars, sheet cake, brownies, Jell-O cups, pudding, fruit cocktail. Big cookies that felt special even when they were a little dry. A forgettable lunch could suddenly feel like a good day. And among all of them, peanut butter bars seemed to sit deepest in memory. Dense, sweet, a little salty. Richer than school food usually had any right to be. For a lot of people, dessert was the difference between an average tray and one worth remembering. 5. Mashed potatoes with gravy. This was cafeteria comfort in one of its plainest forms. A scoop on the tray. Gravy over the top. Steam rising if you got there early. Some days the gravy was too thick. Some days too thin. Some days perfect for about 2 minutes. Nothing flashy. That was the point. Mashed potatoes made lunch feel warmer, fuller, safer, almost. It was the kind of food that did not need to impress anybody. It only needed to make the middle of the day feel softer. 6. Fish sticks. Few school lunches split opinion like fish sticks. Some kids loved them. Some hated them. Almost everybody remembers them. Crunchy coating, pale middle. Tartar sauce plenty of kids distrusted on sight. And especially the smell. Fish stick day announced itself before the trays ever appeared. You did not even have to see lunch to know what it was. That was part of its power. Some meals arrived quietly. Fish sticks never did. They entered the room before the food did, and maybe that is why they stayed in memory so easily. 7. Chili with crackers. Chili day felt more serious than most lunch days. Maybe it was the bowl. Maybe it was the heat. Maybe it was the quiet decision every kid had to make about finishing it. The crackers mattered too. Saltines on the side. Crushed on top, dropped in until they softened. Small detail. Exactly the kind people still remember years later. And school lunch memories are often built out of details that small. 8. Corn dogs. Corn dog day felt louder than normal. Maybe because corn dogs looked more like fair food than school food. Maybe because anything on a stick felt more fun. Sometimes crisp. Sometimes soft. Sometimes more coating than hot dog. It did not matter much. What mattered was that it broke the routine. And memory holds on to things that broke the routine. 9. Turkey and gravy over bread or mashed potatoes. This was one of those lunches that tried to feel more like dinner. Turkey. Gravy. White bread underneath in some schools. Mashed potatoes in others. Green beans nearby if the tray followed that logic. Kids may not have loved it like pizza. They still remember it. It felt heavier. More formal. Like the cafeteria was trying to become home cooking for one afternoon. 10. Salisbury steak. This was one of those lunches kids accepted before they understood what it was supposed to be. Not really steak. Everybody knew that. Still, the name sounded important. Brown patty. Brown gravy. Usually mashed potatoes nearby. Maybe peas nobody wanted. Part of the memory was the gap between the name and the reality. Salisbury steak sounded grown up. The tray told a different story. That mismatch is exactly the kind of thing childhood remembers. 11. Chicken and noodles. In some schools, this was the lunch that made the cafeteria smell almost comforting. Soft noodles. Chunks of chicken. Thick sauce somewhere between broth and gravy. Maybe a roll on the side, not flashy. People remember it for another reason. It came surprisingly close to homemade, even when it clearly was not. And kids notice that. They know when school food drifts close to something personal, and that nearness is often what turns an ordinary lunch into a lasting memory. 12. The full tray and the milk carton. And for a lot of people, this may be the part they remember most, not one dish. The whole picture, a divided tray, main dish in one square, vegetable in another, fruit off to the side, dessert if the day went well, and always the milk carton, white milk, chocolate milk, maybe strawberry milk if your school felt unusually advanced. School lunch was visual before it was verbal. Kids judged the whole tray in seconds. Good day or bad day, treatable or not, best part first or saved for last. That full image stayed because school lunch was never just food. It was one of childhood's most repeated public rituals. Same room, same fluorescent lights, same tray sliding forward, same rush to find a seat, same hope that today's lunch might be better than yesterday's. And maybe that is why even the complaints became nostalgic. Too cold, too soggy, too weird, not enough gravy. Who wants my peas? Can I trade for your dessert? Don't take my tots. Those small complaints were part of the ritual too. Part of the sound of the cafeteria. Part of what made lunch feel ordinary then and strangely precious now. So what comes back first for you? Rectangular pizza? Sloppy joes? Fish sticks? Peanut butter bars? Tater tots? Chocolate milk? Or maybe something even smaller. The sound of the tray sliding forward. The snap of opening the carton. Or the moment you spotted your favorite lunch before you reached the counter. Tell me which school lunch you still remember most.